Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Ravi Korisettar, Senior Fellow, Dr. V.S. Wakankar, Archaeological Research Institute, Bhopal. In the subject of Indian culture and paper 2 on pre- and proto-historic cultures of India, this presentation deals with summary of all the modules which cover the entire syllabus prescribed by the UGC. This paper on pre- and proto-historic cultures of India covers the syllabus prescribed by the UGC, and accordingly, modular chapters were developed with the involvement of scholars active in the field of Indian archaeology. Since it represents the first attempts by the scholars involved and owing to lack of experience in developing e-content and subsequent video recording, it was difficult to achieve uniformity throughout. Once these modules are uploaded online, we expect feedback from the reader and would be eager to further improve the e-content as well as clarity in video presentation. We eagerly look forward to receiving the feedback. There are as many as 38 modules covering the entire syllabus, and each contributor has endeavored to serve the reader with up-to-date information, with particular emphasis to express in simple and lucid language. Although uniformity in the manner of presentation could not be achieved at this stage, future efforts will be to standardize presentation on all fronts and overcome the defects that have inadvertently crept into both e-text and video presentation. The first three modules make an attempt to provide information on basic concepts in prehistory, including the recent developments in the study of human evolution and ultimate peopling of the planet. These modules equips the student to familiarize with terminologies and new concepts and methods. Modules on African background to Eurasian prehistory have been deliberately designed to orient the student to appreciate the relevance of African prehistory for better understanding of India's prehistory. Module 4 and 5 help in understanding the natural history of the region and geologic, geomorphic, climatic factors that were responsible for the creation of suitable habitats across the subcontinent, which were colonized by dispersing hominins out of Africa during the lower and middle Pleistocene. The role of long and short-term climatic changes and the expansion and contraction of habitats in response to climate changes are considered important in the study of prehistory. Quaternary period of the Earth's history has been described in detail to be able to understand man-land relationships. Modules 6 to 10 give an account of lithic and ceramic technological studies and the importance of bioarchaeology for the reconstruction of life phase of ancient societies, largely represented by hunter-gatherer communities. Bioarchaeological studies are limited to archaeozoology and archaeoanthropology. Similar subdisciplines of geoarchaeology, archaeobotany, archaeochemistry, molecular archaeology will be added as updates in the future. Stone Age evidence from the Lower Paleolithic to the Mesolithic are covered in the modules 11 to 15. Modules 15 to 17 deal with the emergence and expansion of food-producing way of life in the distinctive geographical environments across the subcontinent. Here again, the importance of early agricultural developments in Africa, Southwest Asia and East Asia are relevant to understanding the origin and spread of a variety of crops from outside the Indian subcontinent, as well as understanding the local domestication of native crops. These three modules cover the time span between early Holocene to late mid-Pleistocene. Modules 19 to 23 specifically deal with the protohistoric period, describing the processes that led to first urbanization in the Indian subcontinent in the Greater Indus Valley. These modules trace the rise, development, and transformation of the Indus civilization based on archaeological evidence at a number of Harappan sites in India and Pakistan in the framework of radiocarbon chronology. The characteristics of the civilization and its relations with contemporary civilizations outside the Indus Valley in the context of internal and external trade has also been adequately described. Cultural developments following the transformation of the civilization during the second millennium BC have been treated clearly to help understand the antecedents of second urbanization in the Ganga Valley during the second half of the first millennium BC. The archaeological data clearly shows abandonment of settlements in Cholistan and Sindh while continuation and de-urbanization in Punjab, Haryana, northern Rajasthan and western Uttar Pradesh as well as Gujarat. In the eastern domain of the Indus civilization area, regional cultures like Symmetry H and Bara emerge after the end of the urban phase of the Indus civilization. Similarly, Jukar culture followed in Sindh and several regional cultures in Gujarat region. The major reasons proposed by scholars were Aryan invasion, climate change, and environmental factors, drying up of the Saraswati, tectonic movements altering the river courses, inland dam, reservoir, collapse in both internal and external trade with Mesopotamia and others. Modules 24 and 25 focus on the issues on the authors of the Harappan civilization and present a scientific account of the issues such as place of the Aryans in Indian proto-history and explore the literary and archaeological sources to provide fresh insights on the Saraswati in relation to Indus and Vedic times. Modules 26 and 27 provide a comprehensive account of post-Harappan period, Chalcolithic cultures in the northwestern and western India. These modules provide an up-to-date account of Chalcolithic economies that predate the rise of urbanization during the succeeding Iron Age in India. Iron Age marks the beginning of large-scale expansion of agricultural settlements in the Ganga Valley, successful exploitation of iron technology. Iron Age is also characterized by the emergence of typical megalithic culture in southern India. Modules 29 to 30 focus on various aspects of this time period with explicit reference to the rise of second urbanization in the Indian subcontinent. Transition to early history is also explained in Module 31 in southern India. A separate module on rock art studies in India, the nature and variety, its chronology and changing methods of study dealt with in Module 35. Modules 36 to 38 provide a refreshing account of science and technology and water management strategies in ancient India. I reiterate that these modules are prepared as a first experiment, and we are aware of the fact that there is scope for revision and improvement in terms of e-content as well as presentation on videos. We would like to look forward to receiving feedback from the readers, and also we would like to update ourselves to make sure that the e-content is of international standard. Thank you.